Hey guys, it's Patrick here, and today is the first video of my rig update build log. And I suppose as you can see around me, there is a huge mess. Now, this isn't a mess of building it, it's actually a mess from taking apart my old rig. I had to take everything out. I had to obviously remove all the liquid that was already in there, but most of all, I needed a few parts that I'm going to talk about right now. So I've put together the case in a video that you can watch right over here. I've put together the graphics card water block, and you can watch that here. And I've also gonna show you what I've done so far off camera. The reason I've done it off camera is these are very simple things, and I suppose I just want to show you the placement and the thoughts behind it. Alright, so what I'm going to talk about is actually what I've decided to do and what actually happened. I guess a little bit of a learning experience when building a water loop and using acrylics. This is very important when using acrylics, and I have to point out the obviousness of it, but also the sort of things that you might want to do when you are building something like this, because sometimes things might not work out like they had to, like they did this time. Unfortunately, they didn't work out as well as I hoped. So, guys, let's talk about the placement of what I've done here. So I've got my motherboard. It is a smaller motherboard, and the reason I did that so I could have this nice plate. So if you're wondering why I picked out a very small motherboard, is because of this. I wanted this to be here, and there's only this much space below that can fit another, larger motherboard, but I didn't want it too big because there needs to be a little bit of space here for maybe cable management or hiding a few bits and pieces. For example, controlling your fans or your lights. It can be nicely hidden just behind here. The other thing is this radiator here is a 480, so there's 4 fans that can go on it. This was always going to go there, there's no doubt about it. That was the only place for it. There is a gap here behind it that lets airflow go through, and as you can see, it's flat against the actual case, because when the fans go on, it's going to be a little bit fatter. I've put the outlets on top. It's important to me because I want to do a clean run from the CPU out into here, and then from this to the actual res. And then obviously from the pump back into the graphics card, then the graphics cards to the CPU. So that's my plan of doing it. I've got my old PSU right here, the Corsair. Fits perfectly, and as you can see, the grommet here allows the cables to go straight through. The thing is, I have to note is this one is really good because it can actually go fully quiet, fully silent. It won't turn on at all unless it's being overheated or it's getting a lot of draw power from it. The other thing I want to mention is the 960 Evo that came in a little bit recently after I put this together. These things are super small, and the NVMe type is super fast, but guys, it's tiny. It's hiding just behind here, nicely hidden away, out of the way, and it's like 10 times faster than SSD, and priced pretty much what SSDs came out at first. This was $179 on special, so if you have a chance to pick one of these up and you have an M.2, this is the budget version. Instead of the Pro, it's the Evo. Super friendly to your wallet and super good performance for consumers, so highly recommend this product. Check it out at PLE right now. I think they're out of stock with this one because this was such a good seller, but all the other ones, the bigger ones, are there. 1 terabyte, $250, and I think there is even a 2 terabyte model, but super expensive, guys. The thing I had to do is I actually had to go out and get a pump and res combo. And I'll show you the reason why I had to do that right now. This is my old D5 pump, a fantastic pump. There is no better pump than this. Super reliable and just super fantastic. The problem is this pump doesn't actually accept the stock standards sort of plugs, so you have to use pipes like this, and then you've got your res to connect it to. So now my build would look very odd with this pump connecting to the graphics card over here and this taking in the reservoir. So I couldn't use this, I couldn't really use this. So right now these are gonna go probably on Gumtree, they're gonna get sold, and I'm having to use this D5 Phantom. Now the D5, I needed the D5 because it has to run a long time, and the D5 is probably the best you can get. I don't think this can go inside here. I doubt it, because apparently there is custom ones you can actually get to make it bigger, but this one is not one of them. The Phantom 5 is going to go right here. I've called the Phantom 5 Phantom D5. It's going to go right here. I believe it's a little bit wider than this one, and it should look quite nicely. And actually, symmetrically, it should really fit. They're giving me a nice clean run to the graphics card and a nice clean run from here. This space over here will be used for something else. I'm thinking along the lines of maybe my light or fan controllers here, because some of them actually light up and look quite nice, like the NZXT RGB one. Now the motherboard does have RGB headers, so I'm wondering if, I don't know if the both will work, but if the motherboard can do it, I might just stick it and leave it with that. So guys, what I'm going to do now, in the next video, you're going to see me putting it all together, most of the parts that fit in. And from there, I'll be able to start doing the piping. That is going to be the hard part, I believe. That is going to be the real tinkering part. Once everything's in and all the other bits and pieces are in, it's, you know, it's done. But now the pipes come along and we're going to have to do that. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'll catch you in the next video where I'm going to go through putting a few bits together. Right now, though, this is it. This is how it looks. All the mess around here is actually from my old case. A lot of things had to be taken out, so the box is now finally empty except for the motherboard, which I'll be obviously gumtreeing off to the next happy folks who want to get a high-end product for very cheap. The last thing I have to say before I go is if you are taking apart a water cooling build that you have done in the past, and I'm kind of speaking to the past of yourself, make sure you put a tap in it. Put a tap in it, because it is super hard to take that apart when there is no way to remove all that liquid from your loop. My mistake, I did it, now I'm putting a tap into this build. Guys, thank you very much for watching. This is my new build. I'm going to be working on it for the next couple of days and going to be putting out a lot of videos. Please submit some questions. Let me know what you think. Does it look good? Is it going to look good? And if you do have any questions, how to do it, what parts to choose, let me know. I've gone through the pain, I've made the mistakes, so I'm happy to give you my solutions on how I worked around it. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in another video.